Hello and welcome to this first lecture on integration in this new section in this course Master in Generative AI. So in this section we will give you an in-depth view of the integration. In the first lecture we will lay out the entire process of how can you integrate generative models into existing systems, tools and workflows within an organization. So how do you think you can go about doing the integration? Any thoughts? So integrating generative models into the existing systems, tools, and workflows within an organization involves several steps. And if you take these steps, you can ensure smooth integration, scalability, and maintainability. Now, what are these steps? Let's take a look at as we go forward and let's quickly summarize here. So first you need to begin by identifying the use cases, then set up the infrastructure and environment, then do the model integration, manage the data, deploy the data, monitor and maintain, and integrate with existing tools, security and compliance, and training and documentations. So let's take a look at each of these steps in some detail and see how can you do that. So to identify use cases, you need to talk about two things. What are the business requirements? And there you identify the specific business needs and use cases where generative models can add value. This you can do if you are designing from de novo, you can do that earlier, or if you already designed, you can also see where else can it be used. Then you evaluate the feasibility and potential impact of integrating generative models into these use cases. Now, if you're designing from fresh, you would have taken care of that. But if you already have an existing model, then this could require some kind of analysis. Then you set up the infrastructure and environment. You set up hardware. You ensure that you have necessary hardware to identify them. And these hardwares could be GPUs or TPUs for efficient model training and inference. Then you set up the software environment with necessary libraries and dependencies, and many of them we have talked about it. Now, tools like Docker can help in creating consistent environments. Then you do the model integration, right? You develop APIs using frameworks like Flask, Fast API, Django, as we talked earlier, and you expose the model functionalities to the users. And this enables other systems and applications to interact with the model. And then you can also consider deploying models such as microservices to improve scalability and maintainability. Then in data management, you ensure that you have a robust pipeline of collecting data and pre-processing data required for the generative models, because the data will keep moving up or moving aside or moving on an upward territory. Then you will need to keep pace with that. And in doing that, you need to implement data security measures to protect sensitive information and comply with the regulations. Then you do deployment as we talked about. You use tools like Docker to package the model and its dependency into a container. Then you orchestrate by deploying containers using tools like Kubernetes to manage scaling and load balancing. And there, as we had talked earlier, you can use Helm chart to define, install, and upgrade Kubernetes applications. Then you get into monitoring, implementing monitoring tools to track the performance and health of the deployed models. Tools like Prometheus and Grafana can be useful, as we talked earlier. And you set up logging to capture important events and errors for troubleshooting and analysis. And you regularly update the model and dependencies to incorporate improvements and security patches. Then you integrate with existing tools. You can integrate with CI/CD pipelines, uh, using automation tools like Jenkins or GitLab CI/CD, and this can help you automate the deployment process. Also, you can integrate with collaboration tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams for notification and alerts, and connect with data analytics platform like Tableau and Power BI for visualizing model outputs and performance metrics. You also need to take care of security and compliance, so implement authentication and authorization mechanisms to control access to model APIs and ensure that the integration complies with industry standards and regulations like GDPR, HIP, AA, etc., etc. Uh, Training and documentation is an important aspect of integration, where in training, you need to provide training to end users and stakeholders on how to use the new capabilities provided by these gen models, and maintain a comprehensive documentation covering the setup, usage, and maintenance of the models and the integration points. So, what is next? So, having looked at, summarize here the whole integration process, we will now take you through a workflow example in the next lecture. So, thank you so much for watching this first lecture on integration in this course, Mastering Generative AI. I hope you are continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer a question, and download the PDF file to take a look at anything that is of specific interest to you.